Hi everyone and welcome to FilmDirt. I was in a slightly Al Pacino mood, specifically 90s Al Pacino, so I had to revisit 1995's Heat, featuring two heavyweights of movie stardom, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, with a splattering of other notable names like Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, Danny Trejo. Jon Voight's also in this, as is a very young Natalie Portman, just before her Star Wars journey. Now, this film is one of the most atmospheric for me, and I occasionally like to dip into it because I just like I guess you could say, the mood and the feel of the film. Now, when I think of mood, I think it's the whole feeling of being put into another space, that could be another city, in this case LA, and those nighttime cityscapes, it's almost like what you call a noir scene. And nowadays we kind of call that ASMR, wouldn't we? It's a very relaxing look at a city backdrop, and we get lots of those scenes in this film. And there's a fantastic use of sound throughout this film, not only in these scenes where we've got, I guess it's a long lens look at a nighttime cityscape, but also the infamous gunfight scene. And I've got a decent sound system here, so naturally I was looking forward to that scene very specifically. Now, I love Pacino in this film. I do think it's one of his best. And overall, I've loved his career. He's been in so many great films. Naturally, for him in this, you could say maybe he was overacting. But is he really? I don't think he is. This seems to be the normal Pacino you get. And you let him develop that character for himself. Same with Robert De Niro. I think he's at his peak here. As the leader of the heist, the criminal mind. Both actors are giving sterling work. They both give quite an intensity, I think you could say, and they're very believable in each of their roles. It almost doesn't matter whether you think they're overacting or not, they're just drawing you into the film. And personally, I think that's the difference between acting from yesteryear compared to modern acting. There seems to be a lot more character we had in the past, especially in films like this. It's very hard to get that nowadays in modern films. We just don't seem to have those big personalities, and that's why each of their scenes together have that underlying intensity behind each of their eyes. It's just fantastic to watch, and that peaks during that intense gunfight in the streets of LA. And it's always good to relive that because we keep hearing those stories, well I did, of Val Kilmer's excellent gun work. I think they use that as an example in probably training videos, don't they? It's where he's reloading, he turns around behind him and then returns back and reloads at the same time and keeps firing. Such great military style precision. And you could believe that of Val Kilmer. He seems to put a lot into each of his roles. And he's just one of the few great supporting actors here. The whole cast is great. There doesn't seem to be any weak links. The photography, again, is great. I mentioned the nighttime noir scenes. Now, I can't tell you I understand everything about the criminal plan or the heist objective. To me, it just seems like it's destined to fail. So maybe that's part of the whole story, and it's up to us to really decide if that's how we see it. It's not Michael Mann's best film for me. I prefer Collateral. I reviewed that as well on this channel a little while ago. That for me is a fantastic film. Very similar in some ways. You know, I'm going back to the nighttime noir scenes now, which I think really puts you into the film. Really something special and just maybe eclipses Heat slightly. But surely this is sterling work from Michael Mann as well. I mentioned the sound puts you right into the film and into the space in LA that is set. We get lots of traffic sounds, echoes down the street, notably in the gunfight scene. And also the music from Elliot Goldenthal isn't too intrusive, but it's just there helping the scenes flow. And that brings me to my slight negative with this film. I think there was a little bit of fat in scenes here and there where they're meeting each other and they're having dinner. The group are discussing this and that, and I think some of that could be trimmed just to reduce the runtime slightly, but really it's minor, because otherwise I think this is a very special film. A great 90s film of its time, and for a score, I'll give this 4 stars. And the cherry on the top, that intense gunfight right there on the streets of LA, with the echoes of gunfire, fantastic. Now, I mentioned earlier about the nighttime noir scenes. I did a photography assignment very recently when I was staying for a few days in London. I felt it was some of my best work. If you can accurately capture nighttime vistas, the images you can get can look amazing. And I had to take the opportunity to capture video. I included some of that footage in my recent projector ambience video, so if you've got a few minutes, do take a look at that. Thank you for listening to my review of Heat. Join me again for more movie chat. Like and subscribe and all that. All the best to you, and take care.